We're going to look at another way of solving quadratic equations, and especially for equations that are not factorized easily. So let's have a look at part A. X squared minus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Okay, we're not going to find two integers that add up to -4, but whose product is +1. Okay, we're going to do something called completing the square. Okay, and you might recall this from the topic of products and factors. So what we're going to do is we're going to complete the square on the left-hand side. The first thing we're going to do though is we're going to move the +1 over to the other side, and that gives us -1 there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to complete the square on the left-hand side, and we complete the square by halving the middle term. So this is the middle term, -4. Take half of that, and then we square that. So -4, half of -4 is -2. Squaring that, you get +4. So what we're going to do is we're going to add +4 then to both sides. And this creates a perfect square on the left-hand side. Okay, so this is the perfect square. X minus 2 all squared is equal to 3. Then we'll take the square root of both sides. So x minus 2 is equal to plus or minus square root of 3. And then finally we're going to add 2 to both sides. So therefore x is equal to 2 plus or minus square root of 3. That's actually two solutions there. So I might just write the two solutions. So x is equal to either 2 minus root 3 or 2 plus root 3. In fact, if you substitute those two solutions into the original equation, you will get 0, and I'll leave that up to you to verify that for yourself. Okay, let's have a look at part B. Now part B, I've left that one in there just as an interesting example. Let's complete the square on this one as well. So we have x squared plus 2x is equal to -3. So we move the constant term over the other side. Let's halve the middle term and square it and then add it. So half of +2 is just +1. +1 all squared is just 1. And we're going to add 1 to both sides. Okay. You can probably already see that we're going to have a bit of a problem now on the right hand side. So this is the perfect square. X plus 1 all squared is equal to -2. Now we're going to take the square root of both sides, and you probably know by now that your calculator will probably struggle with the square root of a negative number. Let's just persevere with it though and see what happens. So x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus the square root of -2. Now the square root of negatives, obviously we haven't covered that. However, we have touched upon it briefly, that while the solution is not what we call a real solution, it is a solution that can still work. In other words, if we substitute that solution into the original quadratic equation, you will still get 0. Those of you doing extension 2 in year 12, or who choose to do extension 2 in year 12, will be looking at square root of negative numbers in a lot more detail in the topic of complex numbers. Okay, let's subtract 1 from both sides. Okay, so x is equal to, so -1 plus or minus square root of -2. Okay.